All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is the second quarter of our boys' holiday tournament championship game. There's 6:22 left in the second quarter, and I think that we finally have all of the kinks worked out here. We had some technical difficulties today. The camera wasn't working, scoreboard wasn't working on your screen at home, but from what we're gathering now from some of our people out in the area watching the game, it looks like it should be back. So if you're with us here and you stuck with us here until the second quarter, now you're going to get some play-by-play and color commentary from me, John Kaleda, joined tonight by Ross Smith, the legendary Ross Smith. And looking down at the game here, we had been talking before we had some difficulties and had to shut off for a little bit to figure everything out. We've been talking about the Bears and their offensive consistency and how that's been a problem for them so far this season. And you're seeing it again right here. Quick start, kind of opposite from last night. They started cold in both halves and then were able to pick it up. But quick start tonight, but then have kind of gone cold in the last about 4 minutes of the first quarter and 2 minutes here in the second.
Yeah, I mean, this score might be a little high for them right now. Oh, hold on.
And now you worry here with a team that struggled offensively. Can you come back from a deficit? And right now it's 7 as the Mifflin Mustangs have hit a couple of threes, gotten some shots inside, kind of playing their standard brand of solid basketball as Jake Kapp puts up a three, no good. Eisenhard tries to get the tip, does not fall, and here comes Mifflin. Delson McNeil gets the pass over for the layup, and that's number 4, Xavier Price.
Yeah, they can't give that basket up. It's Mifflin is. I was really impressed with Mifflin yesterday, and even Penn Ridge. They were playing Penn Ridge, and Penn Ridge did the same thing. They were moving the ball pretty sharply. It was a tight game.
Eddie Higgins, who has been very good offensively for the Bears, tries his kind of patented up and under move, but Mifflin had that scouted out, tried to kick it out to Zach Ward, and it goes to the backcourt. Turnover for the Bears. And they're stuck in a 9-point hole here in the second quarter in their 2-3 zone. This is certainly not a team that's built for the big comeback, playing that 2-3 zone, kind of having their defense be more of their bread and butter than their offense. So we'll see if the Bears can make a run here somehow. Thought they might have had a steal there or a rebound, but a foul's called. Mifflin will retain possession underneath. As Richard Black checks in for Eddie Higgins, giving the Bears just one more outside shooter on the floor right now. Nice job by Boyertown not allowing anything inside on that inbounds play, and Mifflin will have it up top as McNeil gives up to Harley. They'll go inside with Higgins on the bench. Eisenhard stopped the initial shot but had to foul as there was an offensive rebound. Sometimes in this zone it's tough with that weak side rebound.
It really is.
And Mifflin was right there in good position that time. But Eisenhard's able to rip that ball away, and he's going coast to coast. And they'll get Price on the foul from behind.
It's a typical Mifflin team, not real big, but they play well and they get to their spots and they do what they need to do.
I kind of expected a bunch of huge, bulky dudes walking in here from Mifflin after you watch what they did all fall with that football team that, if any Mifflin faithful are watching right now, they may not want me to mention the football season because it did not end the way that they wanted, but still a very, very successful season and some very big athletic kids on that football team.
Well, only one team wins last season. They had a phenomenal year. So did Exeter, for that matter, in Berks football, but no shame in getting to the, it's not as far as you want to go, but there's no shame in getting that far for sure.
That's one of those games where, years ago I would have never watched because you have to go to the games, and now with everything being live streamed, I remember, Ross, it was about the third quarter, And I'm just scrolling through Twitter and Facebook, and I'm seeing people go, hey, there's something might be brewing over here. So then, it's me clicking around finding a live feed and was able to watch most of the second half of that game. It was a great game. It was tense. It was everything you want out of a district. I guess that was a District 3 championship game. It was a great game. Well, Jake Cap somehow gets left alone and puts up the shot, but no good. Mifflin with the rebound, and here comes McNeil leading the break. Boyertown's going to need those shots to fall, those outside shots tonight to make up this deficit.
Yeah, I was just going to say they don't really have a lot of margin of error here in this game right at the moment.
Mifflin poking and prodding here, looking for something inside. Bears doing a nice job taking the high post away.
That's one thing traditional Mifflin teams are pretty patient.
Rebound goes to Jake Cap, and he'll push up to Zach Ward. Not as patient as those Reggie Weiss-Wilson teams, though, Ross, huh?
Well, I can remember one year in this holiday tournament when you might have been in the game. I don't know. I'd have to think about that, but I don't remember which year it was. Mifflin decided they were going to play zone, and Brad Unger, they weren't going to challenge Brad Unger. And second quarter, we sat here for 7.5 minutes.
I do believe that as Richard Black knocks down a big three-pointer for the Bears, didn't Brad Unger literally stand on the Bear head for, it was like 4.5 minutes.
It was 7.5 minutes.
7 minutes. And he just stood there. As Mifflin just stayed in a zone and said, come get us. And Brad Unger just stood there. I heard the fans were booing, and it was... Well,
I was sitting at the scorer's table with my hands behind my back talking to the Mifflin scorekeeper, who is another Berks County legend, Bench Gerhardt. And he just kept telling me, they're not coming out. I said, well, then we're not going. Then we just stood there it was 8 minutes with the quarter, and when they finally, with about 30 seconds, we went to it.
It was a battle of wills there as Matt Harley, great offensive rebound from him, come charging in. Boyertown had no block out on him, and now that big three-pointer by Richard Black kind of gets nullified as they're back down by 8, but Jake Cap goes in, and he gets fouled. And that's a part of Jake Cap's game that he's really started to develop over the last couple of games, that drive to the bucket, the crossover, the jab step to get past his man. Jump shots haven't been falling as regularly as he would like, so he's done a nice job getting to the bucket.
Do you realize this is the 27th or 28th? I'd have to actually look. Holiday tournament. Believe that or not.
I was thinking about asking yesterday so I could announce that, and then I forgot. But 28 years, so what? 93, something like that. First year.
It would have been 89, I believe. 89. So maybe I'm not doing good math. I've been accused of that before.
You're more the wordsmith.
Oh yeah.
Well, Delson McNeil adding on here to Mifflin's lead, and Boyertown seems to have no answer here, as even the shots aren't falling from the foul line for the Bears, as they need to get something going here with 1:45 left in the half, something to get momentum. But Marinello loses the handle. Delson McNeil picks up the loose ball. It's a 13-point lead, and Coach Marinello's getting up, but going to save a timeout here. He's going to see how his team responds. Bears running a little 5-out motion set, trying to cut, go back door. Higgins has it at the top of the key, looking for Cap. Pass goes out, and it's going to be out of bounds on the Bears. Just nothing going their way offensively.
Number 3 into the game.
And that's Ryan Tinney. Tinney, the backup point guard here. He's going to give Roman Marinello a breather as coach, as he has to call him here for the next few minutes, is giving him an earful over on the bench. Big scrum inside. Loose ball, and Mifflin, another loose ball that they get to, and McNeil will reset. 50 seconds left here in the second quarter. As time ticks away, Matt Harley puts up another shot. Rebound goes to Tinney. And the Bears have a shot for a breakout as Higgins gets it, and he'll finish. thankfully the Bears can get something here as time ticks away. It's 23-12. Mifflin leads, and I would expect Mifflin to hold for one.
Yeah, I don't see why they would do anything other than that. Sure.
And really, the way things have gone for Boyertown, I wouldn't expect them to do anything different than just allow them to hold for one. You know, if they try to come out and play, Mifflin seemed to doing a pretty good job of finding the openings in that extended zone as McNeil drives and kicks out to Jarrell McNeil. I can only guess that they're brothers, possibly twins, and Harley puts up the offensive rebound, but doesn't fall. So the Bears go into the halftime locker room here down 11. Have not seen them down by this much at any point at halftime, at least here at home. Springford game was around 7 or 8, 9, and then it kind of got up a little bit in the third quarter. But this is certainly a test for the Boyertown Bears that they have not seen yet this season, kind of playing, their slow, methodical pace on offense, but yet not getting shots to fall. But this time it's hurting them.
Well,
and
yeah,
Mifflin
they just can't
capitalized.
They just can't get it to the tempo they want to get it to. And not that Mifflin's, nailing down starting blocks and running them out of the gym. That's not the case at all. They're just making more shots and getting more loose balls right now.
And that's got to be the big concerning thing for Coach Marinello here as he's talking to his team in the locker room is I am sure that this coaching staff has been preaching to this team, guys, keep shooting, get your shots. The shots will eventually fall. Just keep doing the things we're coached to do. But it's the loose balls. It's the rebounds. It's the seemingly, big-time ease at which Mifflin is getting to the rim and doing what they and doing what they need to offensively, and the Bears really aren't making it difficult for them right now. So Bears certainly in the second half need to lock things down a little bit, and I'm sure the coaching staff will work with them on that. There's about 8 minutes and 30 seconds left here in halftime, and we'll take a short break. Before we take a short break, Ross, we have to say hi to two of the biggest Bears super fans out there, and those are my daughters, Eloise and Isabel Caleda, who are still up watching the game here.
Ellie and Izzy, good to see you. They're good kids.
So we're gonna bet that right about now, it's about 6:30. They're gonna be asking for a cookie and a snack, and since Mom is at home alone with them, I'm sure she's gonna say, "Fine, that's fine."
Do I get a cookie and a snack for coming
You
up
do
here
not
tonight?
get a cookie and a snack.
Darn.
No, you don't. You haven't earned that cookie and a snack yet. We'll see after the next 2 quarters. But girls, be good for Mom. Head to bed then. We love you. And we'll see the rest of you back here in about 7.5 minutes here on the NFHS Network. And folks, we are back here at Boyertown High School, Boyertown's gymnasium. This is the championship of the Boyertown Holiday Tournament. We've got the visiting Governor Mifflin Mustangs holding an 11-point edge on the Boyertown Bears right now, 23-12. Looking at the scoring for Governor Mifflin, pretty top-heavy here as three players have done most of the scoring. Matt Harley has 8 with a couple of three-pointers. Delson McNeil has 5. And Jarrell McNeil chips in with 6. Those are the high scores for Mifflin. On the Boyertown side, and let us also say that when the technical difficulties happened, we did kind of lose track of some things here going on the floor as we tried to figure out things on our end. But we have Eddie Higgins, who has 4. Richard Black has a three-pointer. Zach Ward has 2. Roman Marinello has at least 1. He has a foul shot in there. And I'm looking at my score sheet, and again, not sure because we did miss about 3 or 4 minutes of game action. But Jake Kapp, the Bears' leading scorer, and their leading scorer last night so far has been held scoreless. And it shows on the scoreboard now as the Bears trail by 11.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at this point you have to kind of make a decision to Boyertown. Do they try to turn up the tempo offensively? But if they do that, do they feed into whatever Mifflin's going to do? But they got to try to change something here because they got to make up 11 points to start with.
Well, last night, Coach Marinello went to a man-to-man defense for a couple of possessions, and Avon Grove just completely cut right to the basket, right in front of the Bears, and got a couple of easy looks. So I would expect the Bears to stay in that 2-3, but you're right. When are they going to take the leash off a little bit and say, hey, go trap in that half-court set, go find a way to get a little 2-on-1 situation and create some steals and possible tempo, because that's what they need if they're going to get back in this game.
I mean, the only other really result here is if Mifflin comes out ice cold and doesn't make a bunch of shots, but then they're also going to have to start winning that loose ball battle. That's one we didn't count them, but that's one they certainly lost in the first half.
And as we start here in the second half, Ross, apparently there's some more technical difficulties at home. Right when I was about to say hi to my daughter, as my wife says it, the audio just shut off there. So Eloise and Isabel, hello, my dears. Be good for mommy, head to bed. And as I say that, maybe I should just give messages to my 2 beautiful daughters all game long, because Jake Kapp, right as I'm talking, easily gets in there for his first 2 points of the night, cutting Mifflin's lead to single digits.
Well, there's a loose ball they got.
And this is exactly what the Bears needed to start the third quarter. Always a big moment of the game, those first 2 minutes of the third quarter, and the Bears so far have outscored the Mustangs 4-zip and have cut the lead to 7. Still in that 2-3 zone, and Mifflin just content to keep their 3 perimeter players stationary as they have a high post and a gray area kind of moving down there. And here they go, a little bit more movement. McNeil stops and pops, and it looks like Richard Black got a little bit too much of him there. And they're going to call that. If you go to box out a shooter, you need to wait until that shooter reestablishes position on the ground, or else it is going to be a foul, and it looks like that's what's happened there to Richard Black.
Yeah, that's a 2-shot foul yet, so we'll see what happens here. I don't recall a whole lot of foul shots in the first half.
No, really. I mean, I have Kapp for 2. Marinello has 2. There were 4 or 5 taken for the Governor Mifflin side, so it's been a pretty clean game so far as McNeil misses the second one there. Marinello now with the ball, going against Mifflin's man-to-man defense. Jake Kapp uses Richard Black's screen, but a little switch there by the Mustangs. Bears trying to get it inside to Eddie Higgins, who will kick out to Marinello. Kapp is going to fire this long 3, and it's good. That's Kapp's first 3 of the ball game, and all of a sudden the Bears are like the 93 Bulls here in the third quarter.
I thought you were going to say like the 2000 Bears, but
the 2000 basketball Bears?
Yeah.
Ross, I was on that team.
I know you were.
Check the stats. I don't think you won 2000. 2001, 2002.
Come on, shooter guy.
Well. Timeout taken there by Mifflin as Coach Conrad wants to talk things over. The Bears have done a nice job cutting into this lead, and all of a sudden it's a manageable lead here, or a manageable deficit, rather, for Boyertown. Only down 5. We've had some issues with the scoreboard on the NFHS network tonight, so if you can't see it, we're not sure if you can. It's 24-19 right now. Mifflin leads. 5:54 remaining in the third quarter. And if Jake Kapp and the rest of the Bears are able to move the ball like they did last possession, reverse it 2 or 3 times, and then knock down a three-pointer, it's going to be tough for Mifflin to keep pace with them.
Yeah, they're on a little run right here. That's exactly what they needed to do, but still not out of it yet.
Marinello handles the pressure from Delson McNeil as the Bears hop into their offensive set.
Saying that, it's give the Bears credit. It's still right where they. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, Ross, honestly, we just need to keep talking when Jay Kapp has the ball because he obviously does not like when we, tell the viewers what he's doing. He's just going to go do his own thing. As he goes in there for a layup and a putback, and then an offensive foul on Mifflin gives the ball right back to the Bears.
I was going to say, for as bad as it all was, it wasn't bad, but you know what I mean. They were down a bunch at halftime. It was still probably, if you would have asked Coach where he wanted to score, he would have took that 24. That would be fine.
Kapp tries to get in there again. This time the ball is knocked away, and Mason Woolwine gets it from Mifflin. He'll kick out to Jarrell McNeil. Back out to Harley, trying to stop the bleeding from Mifflin. He's unable to hit, but an offensive rebound. The ball's on the floor. Harley goes in for a floater, no good, and another offensive rebound, and somehow the Bears are able to get this defensive rebound finally with no buckets from Mifflin as Zach Ward passes up a 3 and gives it up to a better shot for Jake Kapp, and he's feeling it here in the third quarter, as are all the Bears. And Ross, we have a tie game, and it only took 3.5 minutes for the Bears to make up that 11-point deficit.
Well, brand new ball game now, 12-minute game.
You can even see it right now in the Bears' defensive intensity here. They're all over the floor. Zach Ward playing good on-the-ball defense. And now it's Mifflin's turn to stop the bleeding and figure out how they can get some offensive consistency. Big three-pointer there from Jarrell McNeil. And Mifflin surely needed that. Higgins helping out Marinello there. As the Bears start their offensive set, looks like they're in a pretty basic 4-out, 1-in motion. I would think the way the third quarter is going, you're going to be looking for Jake Kapp right here, if at all possible. And if Kapp is not open, it'd be Higgins. Would be the two guys you're going for, and there's the entry pass into Higgins, and a foul is going to be on Bailey Zolkowski. Just went over the back a little bit there. It'll be Mifflin's second team foul. As Tyler Minnick and Xavier Price come on in for the Mustangs. Bears going back to this 4-out, 1-in set against Mifflin's man-to-man. Kapp has it on the wing, and he's going to get called for a travel. He's kind of sticking his hands out, not knowing what that was. And from here, tough angle to see what he actually did. But
yeah,
result of the play doesn't really matter here because Mifflin now has it.
How about that? That's some high-price color analysis right there.
Yeah, good job. Good job. And shot gets missed by McNeil, but the other McNeil on the floor comes in unchecked for a defensive rebound, and Mifflin has done a nice job here in the last minute to build this lead back up to 5 after Boyertown had stormed through to take away that 11-point lead. And now as the Bears keep on entering it into Eddie Higgins, you're going to see this Mifflin foul tally start to hop up there a little bit as another foul, as they're trying to figure out how to stop Eddie Higgins from getting that ball on the block.
They've done pretty well tonight. I mean, now Cap's you pick your poison here. Cap's hot, but they're still going to try to get it in Eddie when they can.
Cap now using Higgins' screen, kicks out to Zach Ward, 3-pointers off the mark. Higgins fights for the rebound, but no strong rebound by Xavier Price. And McNeil for Mifflin will start the offense against this 2-3 zone. Shot goes up. Rebound gets tipped out, and once again, Mifflin will reset.
Smart play by him. He just kind of punched it out there. He saw nobody was out there. He just kind of took a big punch at it and kicked it out over everybody.
Yeah, that was Tyler Minnick there, who kind of went up for the shot, had it blocked, and then smartly punched it away. Matt Harley goes in, and they're going to call a foul. No, they're going to call a travel. I was going to say that was Eddie Higgins was just kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time there and really didn't do anything. So if they were going to call a foul on Higgins, I think you would have seen Coach Marinello lose it a little bit there, and I think that was the right call to say, hey, he was a bit out of control.
That's what I thought he was going to call, and I thought if they were going to call it shooting or on the floor, I would have really had a problem if he would have called shooting, probably.
And that's the thing, as an official, Ross, I'm sure that he's like, all right, listen, that was an out-of-control play. It was a little bit out of control. I don't want to give anybody a foul here, but if I just give Boyertown the ball, then it's like a win-win. You know, Boyertown gets the ball. There's no foul on Mifflin. Both sides are happy. And really, as an official, if both sides are happy, I mean, sometimes that's all you got.
That's how umpires call it.
Unfortunately, most of the time they leave here and both sides aren't happy. If you know what I mean.
True.
Zach Ward there, as we're talking, makes that layup, however, can't convert the foul shot. And it's a 3-point game, 29-26, Mifflin leads. Third quarter action here, boys. Holiday Tournament Championship. And we're going to have an offensive foul on Xavier Price. And all of a sudden, the calls are going Boyertown's way.
He did sort of extend his hands and push a little bit. So that's actually that's a pretty good call, I think.
Coach Conrad does not agree with you, Ross.
I didn't expect that he would. But
Coach Conrad, as we mentioned last night, if you were tuning into our broadcast, somebody who actually I went to college with at Elizabethtown. He's a Governor Mifflin former standout, Kyle Conrad is. He played on those very good Mifflin teams where they had not one but 2,000-point scorers in him and Brandon Smith. Then he went to he went to Elizabethtown, and I believe scored 1,000 points there as well.
Brandon Smith could certainly get you, no doubt about that.
He could on the baseball field and the basketball court. And once again, as we just kind of shoot the breeze, the game is actually the action happens as Eddie Higgins gets a layup there to bring this lead to 1. And even if the Mifflin Mustangs make a bucket here, the Bears got to be happy with their third quarter effort.
They've only given up 5 this quarter. Is that right? Was it 24 or 22?
It was 23.
23.
As Mifflin, as the little mini implosion continues here as another turnover. And the Bears have a chance to hold for 1 and go into the fourth quarter with a lead. And I never thought I'd be saying that after halftime.
Even so, they still got to like where the score is. This is right where they want it to be, the Bears.
Marinello kicks it off the cap, and he's just going to fire away. No good. Eisenhard was there for the rebound, but couldn't control it. And if that went in, it would have looked smart. However, if this ball goes in for Mifflin, the Bears are going to look back at that and think, what if? As McNeil and the Mustangs will hold for 1 as we tick down 6 seconds, 5 seconds left. Shot goes up at the three-pointer. It's off the mark. Ball gets rebounded by Eisenhard, and just like you said, Ross, no, they don't have the lead, but they have all the momentum here. Once down by 11, now only 1. It's 29-28, Mifflin leads.
Yeah, I mean, they got to be happy where it is. I mean, they're not leading, but they're not, the way it looked early, it looked like Mifflin would have 40 or 45 by now, and they don't. They only have 29. So the defense once again coming through, and that if you play defense, you could be in any game. You can win any game.
And that's the thing about the zone that the Bears play. This is a zone that when I was on the staff with Coach Ludwig and Coach Miller, who is our head coach now here at the high school program, this is a zone concept that we put in way back when. And I remember the first year that we really ran this zone, there were some games when other teams, I remember a game at Perk Valley where shots were falling from everywhere for PV, and they kept looking at us. The boys just kept looking at us and saying, we have to switch out of it. We have to switch. And we kept saying, listen, just, it's all about playing the percentages here.
Sure.
Like, stick doing what we're doing. Do what you're coached to do. The shots that they're making, they can't sustain this all game. And then that was a game that actually we ended up, again, coming back in a game sort of like this. We're down by 10, came back, sent it to overtime because they went cold. And Mifflin did go cold there in the third, and we're going to hope that it continues here in the fourth as the Bears look to claim a holiday tournament championship, which I got to think is going to be the first one in years if they're able to do it.
Yeah, I'd have to look at that. I have a list somewhere, but didn't look today.
Xavier Price, strong move in the middle there. Higgins even got a hand on that ball, and he was still able to get it into the basket. It's a 3-point lead now for Mifflin. J. Cap, who's really started to come alive here in the third quarter and into the fourth, driving to the bucket. Tyler Minnick thought he had all ball. They're going to call a foul, and it looks like Minnick had a couple of words for J. Cap there, if I could read lips.
Fouls are 6-1. Now, if you're sitting at the middle table there, you will hear one coach yell, hey, the fouls are 6-1. That's an inevitable thing.
And it's a very easy thing as a coach to yell. You're looking for something here, and that's always an easy one to go to. As the entry pass to Higgins is tipped away by Price. My gosh, he has had quite a last couple of minutes here. As McNeil, that's Jarrell McNeil. Whoa, what a layup and one. And he's going to go to the line with the chance to get this Mifflin lead back up to 6.
He's a nice player. He's kind of long. He just kind of stuck his hand out there and knocked it away and got control of it.
So far, I have Jarrell McNeil down for 14. Again, this is the unofficial book, as there's a couple points flying around out there that we have no clue who they belong to because of our technical difficulties. I have him for 15 now, leading the way from Mifflin, and it's back up to 6, and all of a sudden Boyertown has to come back and do the same thing they did in the third, which is make up a lot of points here.
Oh, and they're going to go to the line right now.
Mifflin here trying to put the nail in the coffin, going after the Bears offense here, trapping, and Richard Black gets bailed out a little bit there as he was trapped, I think 3 times in that sequence. And they'll get the foul call. And like you said, Ross, 7 fouls now on Mifflin. This could be a key for Boyertown here in the fourth as they can get to the line on every foul from here on out. However, you need to make the shots if you get there. Black does not.
Especially those front ends. They kill you every time when you don't make those front ends.
Minnick passes up a 3. They get it to Harley in the middle. Turnaround jumper, no good. Rebound to Marinello. And the Bears need some solid possessions here to put themselves in position to make a charge late. Ball goes into Higgins. He'll skip, pass out toward too high, and the Bears turn it over.
Number 20 is coming in.
It's like Mason Woolwine for Mifflin, a starter coming in for Tyler Minnick. As Ryan Tinney comes in, giving Roman Marinello probably a quick minute or 2 breather so that Marinello can be in there for the stretch run. Mifflin has been pretty content to reverse the ball 3-4 times before they start to look inside for a shot.
It is, might I say, Wilson-esque.
Nice little high-low set there, but the Bears get a hand on it. Can't come away with the loose ball, though. And again, at some point, the Bears are probably going to have to come out of the zone or at least trap or do something within the zone to make it a bit more difficult on Mifflin as Mason Woolwine goes in there for 2 and all of a sudden leads back up to 8.
Save your comments, Mifflin fans. I was making it a little funny.
J. Cap gets a little lob pass from Zach Ward and goes in to stop the bleeding, and it's a 6-point lead, 36-30. Ball goes into Xavier Price as he scoops a shot or a pass to Woolwine.
Wow.
It doesn't matter because Woolwine gets it and deposits 2. But here's that consistency with the Bears. Had a wonderful third quarter, and now in the fourth, they find it much more difficult to put that ball in the basket as Ward tries to go in for a layup, somehow gets it in midair, misses the shot. Tinney is able to corral the loose ball. Cap kicks out to Zach Ward. They're going to need big shots like that. It's off the mark. Ball was tipped away from Eddie Higgins. And Mifflin controlling the fourth quarter so far, up by 8.
Timeout, Mifflin. It's going to be a full one.
It's probably a good timeout by Coach Conrad here. It's a time and situation timeout. Trying to let his guys know, listen, we're up by 8 points. We don't need any long three-pointers right here. Run your offense, reverse the ball.
Give them a little breather, too. They had a couple possessions there that went pretty quickly.
Looking at the timeout situation, 3 timeouts left for Governor Mifflin, but more importantly here for Boyertown, they still have 4. So if they're able to make a run, if they're able to hit some shots, they can stop this clock 4 times, reset their defense, and not allow those precious seconds to tick as the ball goes through the hoop and bounces around. It's always a nice little savvy play, Ross, when you're up. Let that ball bounce around a little bit. Wait till the referee says, all right, inbound it.
They gotta find some way. Boyertown, if they want to, they're not out of it by any means, but if they want to, they gotta find some way to get to the line. And they're not drivers to the basket, so that kind of gets tough sometimes. Or at least they're not driving to the basket right now.
I would expect Coach Marinello also to have talked about their defensive strategy here in the last 4.5 minutes. When are they going to come out of that zone? When are they going to start trapping out of the zone? But whatever strategy they pick, they're probably at some point going to need to up the pressure a bit and see if Mifflin can handle it.
Well, it worked for them at the beginning of the second half.
They did.
Came right back in.
Harley over to Woolwine, and he passes that shot up, which is, again, probably what Coach Conrad was talking about. There's the trap in the corner. Bears almost get a steal, but Mifflin smartly will reset as Price gets the ball inside. He'll go in for a layup, and he has been a force in this second half down low. J. Cap back out to Roman Marinello, but right back to him, and he'll fire a 3. It's no good. Mifflin on the run, and that's exactly what you don't want to do up by 10 in this point. J. Cap runs the break, kicks out to Zach Ward in rhythm for 3. I'm looking at Coach Conrad putting his hands up like, come on. Like, I can read his lips under that mask, Ross. Guys, we just took a timeout. And I'm going to guess that he said things like, we're up by 10. We don't need to push the ball. The clock is our friend. Be strong. Take your time. We'll take layups. But Mifflin tries to go out in the break, turn over three-pointer.
I'm going to make the Mifflin fans mad at me twice tonight. They need to get a little more. They need to get a little more Wilson-esque here and just work the ball around a couple times.
I even cringe a little bit mentioning Wilson, and only because I've been out there playing defense. Down by 4 or 5 points in the fourth quarter, and we didn't touch the ball for 3 minutes because they just would pass and pass, and they were so strong and solid, and always a tough game. But the Governor Mifflin has done a nice job kind of emulating that here, and now a little stoppage. It looks like Jarrell McNeil has a cut on his hand.
Yeah. He's heading down to Sue.
Sue, our new head trainer.
She is. She's sitting in Donna's seat, which always kind of makes me look twice.
Donna Harmon, Boyertown's longtime trainer. What was that,
33 years.
33 years. Recently retired in December. We wish her all the best. Sue, our longtime assistant trainer, now has taken over. Wonderful job they do keeping our players healthy. Shot goes up, no good. Somehow no foul call, and Jay Cap couldn't quite get to the rebound, and Mifflin's going to come here and not shoot the three. There you go, and the Mifflin bench applauds that decision.
Do you think Coach yelled a little bit there? Don't shoot.
Now, Xavier Price shooting the ball, I would take. However, they're going to call an offensive foul here, and that's got to be Eddie Higgins' 6th straight game with a charge taken.
He has, Coach Miller and I were talking about that the other night. He has been, and Coach Ludwig and I were talking about that the other night. He has been really impressive here in the start of the season.
He really has. The question was who was going to take up the scoring slack after Jake Cap, and Eddie Higgins has risen to that occasion. He's also done a great job defensively and has been a real nice addition to this starting lineup for the Bears, as Zach Ward can't get that shot to fall, and it barely rims out of Higgins' hands. And time is taken away here. 2 minutes and 15 seconds left, and the Bears catch a break here. If they do get the ball, they do, and Zach Ward pushes it up. There's Higgins. The layup is good. That's his 8th point, and we've got 2 minutes left, and it's a 5-point game. And now here comes the chess match, Ross, as Coach Marinello sees the scoreboard. He's only got 2 team fouls. They've got to start fouling just so they can get to the bonus if they need to.
I was just thinking, I remember when the bonus was 5 fouls and a half, and then he shot 1-on-1s the rest of the game.
What?
Yeah, back in the 80s.
Oh,
yeah,
stop it.
That's true. It was 5 fouls, and then after 5, it never went to 2 fouls. That was a rule change back in the 80s.
Is this back when the girls couldn't pass half court? We talking that long?
No, not back that far.
Minnick gets, by my counts, his first bucket of the game, and it's a 7-point lead for the Mifflin Mustangs. Cap, little stop and pop jumper from the side, no good. I think the Bears needed that one to fall. And it's a minute and a half left, not showing any super urgency to trap. They're going to start fouling here. And we'll see if Coach Marinello can draw up some sort of pressure to challenge the Mifflin Mustangs, who really have not seen much pressure today. It's been mostly a half-court game both sides, but if the Bears have any chance of getting back into it with a minute 24 left, they're going to need to trap and find a way to get some steals.
Since we have a minute, we want to congratulate Brody Coleman, Luke Heimbach, Gavin Sheridan, Beck Babb, and Chance Babb. They'll be on the championship side tomorrow at the Governor Mifflin Wrestling Tournament. And Shane Stinkina and Dom Sheridan will be in the consolation bracket, and that starts at 11 tomorrow. So congratulations to all those guys for moving on to day 2.
As somebody who did not wrestle, played basketball, obviously, since I'm here calling play-by-play for a basketball game, Ross, those are just grueling days. What a grueling weekend for these guys. Playing.
It's an all-day thing. It's like band. Those guys, I'm here on the campus a lot of times on a Saturday for most of the day, and they got a band competition. It's all day. They're here when I get here, and they're here long after I leave.
And they're wrestlers, so if they're there all day, they can win their match, and then they can't go eat.
That's true. Now, once they weigh in, they have a certain amount. If you ever see a weigh-in at a wrestling match, the first thing they do after they weigh in is head for the whatever Subway sandwich they bought.
At some point, I would just head for the Subway sandwich and not care about the weigh-in, but that's just me. Price corrals a loose ball, and he is not able to throw it out of bounds off Eddie Higgins. Maybe he stepped out of bounds with the ball, and luckily the Bears here have a chance to cut the lead to 5 or 4 as Richard Black checks back in. Smart move, getting a shooter back on the floor. But the Bears do need to hurry. Marinello looking for somebody. Black comes off a screen. He pops a three. It's going to be no good. Higgins trying to save it. He does, but unfortunately right in to Delson McNeil's hands. He'll cross over and pass back to Mason Woolwine.
Let them foul you if they want to foul you.
You know, a game like this, and it just doesn't seem like it's going to go our way here, Ross, but this is a game that you need for later on in the season because this is giving you valuable film on what you do when the game is 5, 6, 7 points away and you have a minute left. And really, the Bears haven't seemed too eager to start trapping.
Now we got a 1-on-1. Now there's 42 seconds left. They need 7 points, so they're going to need pretty much of these. If they get 3 more 1-on-1s here, they pretty much need them to miss these front ends.
And Jerome McNeil does oblige. But we'll see.
I'm glad that after all these years, the curse has not worn off.
We'll see if the Bears can take advantage. Roman Marinello with a big three. That would have been balls loose. Mifflin retains possession. That's going to be a foul. And, you know, Ross, you had said that the Bears needed a couple of misses on the line. They got it. But what you failed to mention, Ross, is that the Bears needed to convert on the other end, which they were unable to do.
Well, that's, yeah.
Matt Harley will head to the line here, trying to salt the game away. 27 seconds left in the boys' championship game of the holiday tournament. He'll make the first, and with 27 seconds left, 8-point lead, and just the way that the offense is not clicked here in the fourth quarter, I'm going to say odds are, you know, it's maybe the green check mark isn't there yet next to their name, Ross, but you got to think.
I don't know if they can get 3 possessions in 27 seconds.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Zach Ward, long three-pointer off the mark. Great position inside by Matt Harley, and he's fouled. And I think I can hear the kind of the rabble of the crowd there. I think the crowd realizes what's going to happen here. It looks like Mifflin's going to walk away from the Boyertown Holiday Tournament as champions.
Don't forget, coming up, the girls' game, the girls' consolation game, Boyertown and...
I think it's Penn Ridge.
Penn Ridge, yes,
Penn Ridge.
Thank you. Couldn't think of it.
It's a good game this afternoon. DeLone Catholic seems to always... It's a long drive for them to get here, but always a very solid team, the DeLone Catholic girls.
Adam Grove's a long drive, too, so thank them for coming.
Matt Harley has gone 4 of 4 from the line in the last few seconds, and that has his Mifflin up by 11. Jay Cap passes up the 3, and he'll head in for an easy 2. The Bears finally get up and start the pressure, but it's more token than anything as Mifflin will run the clock out and win the game 46-37.
Yeah, it was not a bad effort by the Bears. They were like I said, the way it looked early, it looked like they might lose, to be honest, by 20, the way Mifflin was going and the way, but they made that run in the third quarter and played solid defense again all the way through. So there's stuff to build on here. And it's only December 29th. You got a whole nother month here.
It is nice if you can get that tournament championship and you have a piece of hardware that you can display from your season, but I know, I hear you, but I was just going to say, Ross, that honestly, really, does it really matter, winning that plaque? But, what you do get today is you get a chance to see that third quarter, and you can analyze that and see what did we do well here, and you can build there, and you can, like we said, you can see, guys, we're down by 5, we have 2 minutes left, and here's what we didn't do, here's what we did do, and you can use that to help you go moving forward because you'll be in that situation at some point again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't like to lose. It's not the preferable thing, but if you don't, what do we say, win or learn? So now you're going to learn from that. That's a good way to take it.
Unofficial numbers here for Boyertown. I have Jay Cap with 14, Eddie Higgins with 8, Zach Ward with 7, Richard Black with 3, Roman Marinello with 3, and like we said, there's a few points out there after our little technical difficulty, and we had to take our eyes away from the court. For Mifflin, Matt Harley, I have down for 12, a nice solid fourth quarter for him, but main leading scorer for Mifflin, Jarrell McNeil. A lot of things to add up here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 it looks like for Jarrell McNeil. So Mifflin wins the Boyertown Holiday Tournament Championship, and as you can see now on the floor, we're going to head to the girls' consolation match where our Lady Bears take on the visiting Penridge Lady Rams. Ross and I will take a quick break. We'll be back here on the NFHS Network with the action in just a bit.